on, Joel. Come on, dude. You can come in.
What up, doggies?
Oh, this is a man chair.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, he doesn't like me.
Come here.
Oh, this one does, though.
Hi, buddy. Oh, you're so cute.
Mr. Chips.
Mr. Chips? Oh, what a good boy.
Like, I like you, but you don't have any chips.
Oh, this chair is comfy.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mr. Chips.
Mr. Chips.
Whoa. I'm into this. We're gonna come back.
Get him.
Whoa!
Get him, Biddy. Get him.
Where are we right now and what are we doing?
We're in Tacoma, Washington. One of the best towns in Washington, I think.
It's a beautiful place.
It's the center of industry. It's where all the trains and planes and automobiles come from. Yeah.
Why are we here, Joel?
We're here to, I don't know, what are we here to do? We're here to check out some fish and stuff like that. Fish tanks?
Yeah?
Aquariums?
Is your channel linked in the description?
Is my channel linked? It's linked right down in the description below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button anytime you like.
All right, well, I'm glad you're making coffee because it's definitely one of those kind of mornings.
Make a fresh pot. Did you guys head to the casino last night?
No, Rob fell asleep, so we did not go to the casino. He fell asleep in the car, and then we got back to Maboo Studios, and then he fell asleep again, so.
Maboo Studios just has that kind of effect on people. Like, as soon as you get there, you just want to sleep.
I mean, I'm glad you said it, not me, but. Montage music. Dun, 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 dun.
12 hours is not long enough.
It's not long enough.
This painting is amazing.
It is.
Is it?
It is beautiful.
Were you just talking about how long
Sorry.
it takes you to make something like this?
Yeah, I think we were talking about, like, you know, just the hours that go into it or whatnot. And just sometimes how surprising it is when you know, because as you work at it little bit by little bit, just how long it could actually take to get it completed if you were to write it down and figure out the hours put in. It's like, oh, I had a full week of work in that thing, you know, if you hit that 40-hour mark, you know. It's the reality of the work is that it's kind of time consuming. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't go into it because of that.
You'll sell these types of paintings to people.
Mm-hmm.
You'll make, you know, special request paintings if people contact you via email. Is that correct?
That's primarily what I do now.
Yeah.
I make specific pieces for what specifically the customer wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Although Rob and I were just talking about it. Rob, well, from Flip Aquatics over there.
Flip Aquatics, how you guys doing?
He was saying he wanted.
Oh, you're in here?
Hey, here I am.
He was saying he didn't want an original. He just wants a print.
No.
Ooh.
Because he's irresponsible.
Yeah, I feel like I might break it.
But yeah, more often than not, like 90% of the time, what I'm doing is commission type pieces for specific customers that are looking for something.
Okay, interesting. That's crazy, Joel. He made this one for me. Did he tell you that? No, I don't think he knows it yet, but.
Corvus,
Yes.
take me into your house. Into your fish house. Gadoosh!
Don't do that.
I do that in the chicken yard whenever I'm doing a video into the chicken yard.
After you, sir.
Here we are. So some lights are on right now.
Whoa! I feel like I've been here before. Ooh. Shrimps. Dude, you got a lot in here. Nice little colony. The legendary sumps. Legendary sump tour is about to begin.
Legendary.
All right, man. There's sumps everywhere. We gotta get this light on here. So, first question.
I probably should have cleaned the glass before people showed up. Huh?
First question is, why didn't you clean the glass, man?
I haven't been here.
No, my first question: which tank in here is your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah, I guess. Well, your favorite out of the Planet tanks.
Oh, considering I only have 2 right now.
Well, you got more than 2. 1, 2. 4, 5, 6.
My favorite's this one right here that's empty.
This is really.
This is what we call low maintenance. It's a low maintenance skate. Don't really ever have to clean the glass or anything like that. Occasionally you get a bird in here or something, you know,
wow.
along
Yeah,
those
yeah.
lines maybe. But yeah, this is actually a project that's ongoing right now. This is a 60-gallon cube that's going. Actually, it's an orphan tank that needed a home. It was out there just wandering about in the streets all by itself and needed a home, so I was happy to bring him in here and have to do a few extra chores for Victoria over there in order to get another tank in here.
This is an awesome tank.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the perfect dimensions.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
can do a lot with that.
I measured it and was like, well, it'll fit in this spot. So it does change the room a little bit because it does block some of the 240 and stuff like that. But this is my oldest. This is my oldest tank that I've had. I've had this 240 for quite a few years now. There's been really no reason to get rid of it except the one time it almost got sold. But all the contents of it actually got sold, and I managed to actually just keep the tank. So actually, in hindsight, that situation worked out perfectly because I ended up getting to keep this majestic tank. I mean, it's an 8-footer.
This
You just
is-
don't find them very often.
This is a huge tank.
Yeah.
This is tank in wall status. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could put oh man, it's beautiful.
So it's coming along. One of the great things about this tank really is that it's pretty low maintenance at this point. You know, as most people look at my tanks, they think that they're like, wow, you got to put in so much work into that, and it's more or less setting it up and then just kind of paying attention to the ecosystem and how this is stocked and how the plants are growing and everything is really keeping it to a point where you don't have to mess with it very much.
Yeah, the stocking is super low.
Yeah, and you're looking at it right now, like I really haven't put my hands in here in 3 weeks, you know, or anything like that. Other than I added a couple of plants. But other than that, it's pretty much just do a little water change here and there, pay attention to what's going on, and other than that, then just feeding, just feeding fish and stuff like that.
So obviously, I mean, wood, dragonstone. Talk to me about some of these plants, specifically the carboning plants, because I see some down here that are not common.
Yeah, this is actually just stargrass. It's not super crazy to find. It's actually pretty common to find. But the Areocalans, these ones, the Areocalan Vietnam,
Yeah.
those are actually still pretty rare, even though there are a lot of people, not unlike myself, that are keeping them and propagating them. So you can find those.
Yeah, but tough. I mean,
But it's tough to actually locate somebody who has some for sale. That's generally the biggest issue.
yeah, not commonly available.
So the Sawtooth Hydro, these are actually some of the new additions. They were really stunted where I got them from.
Yeah.
They just basically were at a store and never got bought. So they were just kind of being neglected, being in a pot. And so now they're actually starting to recover. They're actually coming into submerged growth form, which is this much finer leaf and everything like that, which is the more impressive kind of style of it. When it's grown above water, it actually just sort of
Yeah, you can see the leaves down at the bottom. kind of
you
more.
see the leaves at the bottom, how full they are. So it is a cool looking plant if it's grown above ground or above water. It'd actually probably be really cool in somebody's garden if you actually had the environment that you could keep it all year round. It would actually be really cool.
Enough humidity and everything. Wow, then you got Crips, you got Bobitis, and then let's move over here and talk about, because that's a stem plant that a lot of people I don't think have or are used to seeing.
That's the Stellata octopus.
Yeah, cool plant, huh?
Which is actually you can mail order this from the aquarium co-op actually.
Oh,
They almost always have that one in stock.
Oh, really?
Which is a really nice stem plant. It does a lot of good work. It holds a ton of nitrate out of the water because how quickly it grows. As you can see when it's moving around in some flow, it has this really cool like kind of reddish color on the underside of the leaf.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
really sends some accent around. And really, I wouldn't say it's the easiest plant to grow, but it is up there on the list of Yeah, plant it in here and it'll grow.
Cool, man. Well, this tank is looking good. If Bob was here, he would be saying, "Why don't you have 100 rainbows in here?"
Yeah, why aren't there 100
rainbow fish in here? This would be
Now, the main reason for that is actually these Gardner Achilles here.
beautiful fish.
Beautiful fish, fantastic fish. They're actually going to be moving to the 60 gallon that we talked about just a little bit ago because of, not to say how violent they are, but basically to say how violent they are. They're a little cranky and they're always breeding. They are, once they're full grown, they are always in a breeding mode. So they never really get out of the breeding mode because they are an egg scatterer and stuff like that. So the males are constantly trying to entice the females to breed. And if anybody else is around, they're getting in a fight. You know what I mean? So there are some apistos, actually some flame apistos, and some of the super red bushy nose plecos are in here, along with like there's one of the apistos right there hiding out behind the rock.
Oh yeah, there is.
Because they're so good at hiding, they have done fairly well in here. And obviously the bushy nose plecos are, you know, they're pretty armored and stuff like that. So even if they do get bit a little bit, then you know, they don't seem to mind.
And you just have, what's your substrate down here? You don't have a soil layer or anything?
No, there's actually no soil in here, but you actually can see some of the buildup of the mulm from over the years. This actually is a combination of fluorite, stratum, actually just even some river rock and stuff like that. So pretty much what's in here is the accumulation of a bunch of different projects. And it's actually pretty old substrate. So a lot of the stuff in here is 6, 7, 8 years in use and still doing really well.
Yeah.
And it's something that pretty commonly comes up now in substrate conversations. The cation exchange capacity is that these do have the ability to grab stuff, and there's a pregnant female right there. You see how buried she is with eggs? It's always nice when they come down into the shot. And
Yeah,
they gotta get in there.
For sure.
But this substrate has been in use for a really long time, and so you can actually see how much mulm is starting to build up in here. Where it comes to the front of the glass, it's going to constantly get light in here, so you can actually see a little bit of the algae and things that are kind of growing up. And that's one of those conversations we had a while ago on the Real Fish Talk. We were talking about the anaerobic bacteria.
Yeah.
The anaerobic bacteria is always going to kind of promote within these areas down here because of how much of an extremophile it is. And so it's not something that is on my list of to do because it's just going to happen. It's just something that's just going to occupy a space. Whereas aerobic bacteria, it's actually something that we do have to promote as fish keepers. And this is kind of an example of that with how down here we're promoting a lot of oxygen exchange coming down into the sump. And continuing through, we're supplementing CO2 here, and then it's returning back up into the tank. But it actually makes it super easy to try and maintain both bacteria levels that are going to be beneficial for the health of our fish and stuff like that by operating a system like this.
Yeah, and so
I wish I was the guy that completely invented all this stuff, but I'm just putting it to use. You know?
we have some other planted tanks over here. We have some cherry shrimp colonies over here. We have a lot of driftwood with some anubias over here. We could spend hours in here talking about that, but I gotta hit your saltwater tank.
You're gonna hit my little 180 gallon reef tank.
just a little tank.
This is just a little tank. You know, in comparison to a lot of reef keepers out there, this actually is a fairly small tank, especially the groups that I'm involved in and stuff like that. They're like, oh, you only have a 180. Okay.
Right.
Call us next week. But this is actually my hobby tank. This is something that I just spend a little bit of time away from the other projects that are more encompassing, which is a lot of the plant stuff and all of that thing. So this actually is kind of my hobby tank. You guys can notice that the glass is dirty and that kind of stuff, but the reason is that this kind of falls on the back burner often, but once again, we're fairly understocked. We're not doing a whole bunch of stuff in it in order to just kind of make it simpler to operate and stuff like that. We have a high water volume here. We're not overfeeding, and we don't have a ton of things going on. So it actually makes it a lot simpler to avoid any of the pitfalls and things that come along.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool stuff. Say bye, Bitty Brown.
Do sound effects.
What? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. We're heading back to Maboo Studios, if I can get through here, to do a live stream. Don't forget to go and check out Joel's channel, his artwork, his fish tanks. We'll see you guys soon.